Welcome, welcome. Good morning, AF. Good morning. Welcome to the Comic Corner. My name's Damon. He's AF. It's early.
I love when you say good morning because that means you can see natural sunlight. My lights
There's
aren't
a
on.
window there.
It's amazing. Don't you think that's amazing? You can see my
Oh,
room in all its natural sunlightiness. Amazing. But yeah, I am good. How are you doing?
I'm tired, but I'm awake at the same time. It's great. We are going to talk about some comics this week. Some comics that came out over the last couple weeks. And let's just show the rundown. I'm off my game, but it's gonna be fine. Let's show the rundown. Avengers Twilight. It kicks ass, man. Chip Zdarsky, like, what do you want? What do you want? It's great. Uh, there's a new realm in the Speed Force AF. Are you gonna mention that? Intriguing. Beast World concludes. Was it good? Yeah, but we'll talk about how good it was. And a lantern died. Hmm. Interesting. Interesting stuff going on in all of the comics. But we're going to start off with the comic that was like my pick of this week. And I was going to bring it up the last time the first issue dropped. I think it was a few episodes ago. And I just didn't have time to bring it up. But Avengers Twilight, man, is so goddamn good. This is, I've seen other people describe this almost as like Marvel's Kingdom Come. I don't know fully about that, but this is a really cool, like, an Elseworld, a multiverse, a different story that is only 6 issues. Chip Zdarsky, when he told this to us at New York Comic Con, he said, "Yeah, the story's done, the art's done. Like, you don't have to worry about any delays. This thing is good to go." And I love this book, dude. This is cool. This is about like an old man Cap and just a far off, distant future where the Avengers are just kind of like government agents. Steve ran for senator at one point, and he's just old now. He doesn't have his superpowers. He's just like looking at society and be like, God, what a fucking mess all of this is. Like, this is just sucks. Everyone's just like listening to like, literal fake news created by the government. It's a big statement on where we all kind of like dread society is going, especially here in this country. And it's a big statement on that, and I think Chip Zdarsky absolutely nailed it. You get cool shots at like an old man Luke Cage, old man Matt Murdock. You get a glimpse at a character I never thought we would see them after a certain age in this issue, and I won't spoil it for you because it was a really cool kind of thing. So it's great, man. It's great. The art in here from Daniel Cunha is top notch. To be expected, top notch. It feels futuristic. It's got like the certain vibe with the colors. It's purpley, it's bright, it's vivid. There's speeches that Cap does to the whole world, and people are just kind of like, eh, just completely brainwashed from it all. And there's a villain twist in this that I think is super, super cool because this is kind of like a different telling in Elseworld, multiverse, whatever you want to say, where the villain is the son of Tony Stark and Janet Van Dyne. So
Oh,
you get those
that's in a
two
multiverse.
heads. Yeah. This is different universe. This is
Yeah, yeah.
this is a son of Tony Stark and Janet Van Dyne, far off, distant future. I'm gonna say this is probably like 50, 60 years from now, type of thing. And it's cool, dude. It's like this whole thing is super, super cool. We're seeing essentially what it's gonna come down to is Cap creating his Avengers in this universe, and it's not going to be like the Avengers that we're accustomed to at this point because everyone's kind of dead or
Yeah.
close to dying. Cap does end up getting his powers back at the end of the first issue, so he's back to being big, strong Cap again, and not just like old man arthritis back is hurting Cap, which is there's some panels at the beginning that are actually really hilarious. And dude, it's just cool. It's just really, really cool.
I'm super psyched to read this one. Not sure when I'm going to be reading it. But yeah, the entire premise just sounds so cool, and um, it's I think what's happened over the last year and a bit is DC Comics was so good, and they forced Marvel to sort of reinvent themselves in terms of their storytelling. Like with the last episode when you spoke about Ultimate Spider-Man, the new Ultimate Spider-Man, that
Mhm.
entire premise super cool. this entire premise amazing. And I feel like this is great for us comic book readers because we aren't fed the same story over and over and over. And uh, I'm psyched for this one. Thank you for not spoiling that twist, because when I do get to it, then I'm probably going to send you some sort of reaction, real time.
It's cool, man. There's some cool moments in this book in this, far off distant future that it with, in an else world type of thing. It's
Yeah,
just it's cool. Like this Chip absolutely nailed this book. I was going into this and I believe as of right now this is the last book he has on dock with Marvel because he has the DC exclusive contract after that. So this was kind
yeah,
of like the last thing lined up, and man, if this is his last book with Marvel for a while, what a hell of a way to go out. First issue, I give 5 out of 5 stars. This one, I gave it like a 4 out of 5, just because it was like it is only 6 issues and it's a very slow burn at this point. So I am a little bit worried, and we'll talk about this later. I am a little bit worried that because it's such a slow burn and because it's a very short 6 issue storytelling, that we may be like absolutely sprinting towards the finish line.
yeah.
So that's my only worry going forward. But so far, man, it's great. It's really great.
How often are they dropping? Is it one a month, two a
It's
month?
once a month. Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yep. Once a month. All right.
Nice.
Green Lantern. You've been going on this every few weeks. How's this last issue?
Dude, I honestly think this comic paired with Green Arrow, I think those are two of the best DC comics ongoing right now. I think Superman is number one. That can't be knocked off its perch. But I think Green Lantern, Green Arrow has been amazing. I want to speak about Green Lantern this week mainly because of the story that we got told and the build up and the payoff for one of the secrets of why Hell is back on Earth and why he got expelled from Oa. And just in the previous issue, he found out, or he knew subconsciously, and he chose to like tuck it away at the back of his mind that, spoilers if you haven't read this issue, but Kilowog died, and
Mm.
he went home, and one of his old friends, Razor, who is now depowered as well, was waiting for him, and then he ended up telling Razor the entire story of what happened and how he came back to Earth. It was a sad tale, basically, about the United Planets proclamation to quarantine Earth sector, which is Sector 2814, and then reassign the Earth-based lanterns to other duties. A lot of them had um, pushed back on that. They didn't really want to be reassigned, except for Guy Gardner. He was just dangled something over his head, and he was like, "Sure, peace, I'm out." Um, but yeah, the Hal Jordan, he wanted to come back to Earth. He came back. And he's had this holographic version of Kilowog, sort of as he's guiding light or something to basically keep him sane, because he is messed up mentally at the moment. Um, so yeah, this entire thing, it's just like this entire issue is just like explain the entire story perfectly well. And I think like a lot of people said that the build up didn't match the payoff. But I don't agree. I think Jeremy Adams did everything perfectly well, and the the reaction of Kilowog's death as well. You could see how tormented and how mentally broken Hal Jordan is, because that's probably his best friend out in space. But I've seen so many people say that like it was a needless payoff, and it felt the death almost felt needless in the sense that it felt like Kilowog died in a bank robbery, getting shot in the chest. Um, I I don't think so. He protected the Lord Premier Tharos, which was his mission. And yeah, I mean, these things happen. One thing, we didn't see a body. So
Mm.
anything can happen. I think he might end up coming back. But yeah, like I can't say enough good things about this run. Green Lantern. I love Hal Jordan in here. I never used to love Hal Jordan before. John Stewart used to be my favorite Green Lantern, but this this issue and this run just grounds Hal so much, and you get to like delve deeper into his psyche. So I love it.
Okay. I mean, you know the whole saying, man. If you don't see a body,
Exactly.
if you don't see a body, there's always a possibility going for, and it's a comic book. And it's a comic
Exactly.
book. Anything can happen. There's been crazier things that have happened in comics. Speaking of crazy things that happen in comics, when everyone just turned into an animal beast thing, half beast, half whatever. I can't remember. Did you say you read the first 2 issues of this finally?
I decided not to because I think I
Okay.
just want to binge them all
Okay.
in one. I've
Okay.
seen so many good things about this comic. I've seen so many people praising the entire run, and I'm like, I don't want to be left on cliffhangers. So I have the
Mm.
first three now.
Okay.
I'm waiting for all of them and just gonna knock them all out in one go.
Okay. So I will say this about Beast World. Did I go into this with a bad attitude? Yes, we kind of poo-pooed it, especially when we saw that Harley Quinn bunny cover. We're like, what in God's green earth is this? This is nightmare fuel, is what that is. How we got to there and everything that resulted, I thought was really cool. If you've been keeping up with the Titans book, this has been essentially the second part of the first arc, the whole conclusion of this, and this will be continued in the Titans book, as well as some other places possibly where the kind of strings have been left off. Is this good? Yeah, it's better than I thought it was going to be, honestly. Now, did I think it was going to be bad? Yeah, but it's solid. I genuinely really enjoyed this book, this whole series. This book in particular, I think it should have ended, without getting into spoilers, I think it should have ended essentially earlier in the issue to leave a cliffhanger or to play in a world that it left us in just a little bit longer instead of a world that we were on for a reality that we are in for like a page and a half. Because there was a point where it's like, oh wow, this is really really cool of what we could be doing with this character and with this team because of all of this, and then it just kind of all got fixed at the very end. It's like, it's all done, and I was like, dang. There is a plot twist at the very end or towards the end that I kind of saw coming the second that there was like a big fight, and then I was like, all right, I could see something happening here, and they'd go that route, and I was like, okay, now if you're a comic book reader, you can kind of see what is being put in place coming. But there is a really cool thing if you want to talk about again the greater continuity of the Dawn of DC, which is no longer the Dawn of DC here in 2024. They scrubbed that title, but we're still playing in that world. Yeah, it continues all of that. And it's been really cool. We get more of Waller. And there's a big, big thing that happens in the DC world at the very end of this issue that will probably play into the Suicide Squad Dream Team book coming out later and just a greater DC, whatever comes up after that. I was like, wow, this had a cool, meaningful end. It has tie-ins that will result in Waller's world. It has tie-ins that will definitely go into the Titans world. I don't know much about anything else other than a potential rumored thing coming later on. I don't really want to get into that until it's like officially announced. But if it is real, but yeah, this event actually like had impact and it was
Yeah.
solid and it had some decent character moments. And Raven got some shine and Garfield got some shine and it was decent. It was good for a Titans event that could have been a Justice League event, but it was very Titans focused, and especially in how they handled certain situations. It was good.
Yeah. Does it have any sort of plot lines for Green Arrow? Because I know Green Arrow is very much Waller centric at the moment.
Not directly. Green Arrow is not in any of these issues for the main series at least.
Okay.
I do know that there's a tie-ins and everything, so maybe something there. But and
Okay.
I haven't been reading all of the tie. I've been reading the majority of the tie-ins. I haven't been reading all the tie-ins. Like I read the
Yeah.
Waller one, and I didn't like that one. But if you've been keeping up with the Adventures of John Kent Superman story, where he kind of goes off into the Injustice universe, the results from that book tied into that Waller story. It was just weird that it was called Waller and not kind of like
Yeah.
Injustice or whatever. So that was like my only like, wow, like I hadn't been keeping up with that. I was like, what the hell is going on here? I'm missing some context. But no, the overall event solid, and I think the last two events have been okay. I do believe that the Night Terrors event was just poorly timed. Like putting that in the middle of the summer was just really lame. And we have another event coming out soon, House of Brainiac, but that's more of a Superman
Yep.
tie-in where Superman really didn't have a big impact in this. Clark Kent Superman at least didn't have a big impact in this. John had some good moments,
Okay.
so
Cool.
there you go. It was decent. I liked it. I really liked it. Your boy,
My boy, my guy.
the
I'm
Psy.
I'm probably I'm probably the biggest Wally West stan in South Africa, most likely. If you think that I'm not, come at me, bro. I'm right here. Um, yeah. So Jeremy Adams. I'm gonna go back to Jeremy Adams' run. It was previously light, was wholesome, and this run, Cy Spurrier, he's turned the entire story into a sort of a darker tale in a way. And Wally's now he takes Cy Spurrier takes a superhero and a family man, somebody that's always put his family first, and he's just created this darker story, and he adds some really hard sci-fi concepts to it. So if you don't like that, you are going to absolutely hate this book. There's a lot of scientific lingo. There's a lot of times when I would read an entire page and I would have to go back a few panels just to try and make sense of what they are talking about. So it is a bit of a brain buster sometimes, but it started off slow, and I think it's finally starting to pick up speed. That pun is very much intended. But yeah, so in issue 3, Wally was stuck in the Speed Force, and this last issue number 4, he escapes the Speed Force, and Max Mercury, one of the other speedsters, he's with him over there. And the issue that happened is Max got stuck, Wally got out. Bart and Max are extremely close. I think Bart takes him as his best friend, as his mentor. So Bart is absolutely distraught. And um, towards the end of this issue, we have a flash forward to Wally like sort of isolating himself, which again I'm not a fan of, because he's always had his family as a support system, and they are always there to just like h- praise him, raise him up, do whatever needs to happen so that he can move forward. But he chooses to distance himself instead. Hoping that there is a reason for this, and we'll probably get there soon. This is only 4 issues in, but honestly, the best part of this issue, Irie West, Wally's daughter. She truly comes into her own. She's one of the reasons why Wally gets out of the Speed Force. And the female speedsters, the duo between Irie West and Jessie Quick, they work together. The spotlight is on them, showing the girl power. Just because it's the Flash doesn't mean that they have to ignore women. And I feel like Sasperia does a great job in this issue of just spotlighting the female speedsters, and I love that so much. The art, it speaks for itself. Mike Deodato Jr. and Trish Malville, chef's kiss.
There you go. Flash stories are seems like they can either be fairly grounded into the Flash's, personal life, or, it's the Flash. We go sci-fi sometimes, and Sci are not afraid to go into the
Yeah,
sci-fi at all. From any of the books
yeah,
I've read from he is definitely not afraid to do that.
yeah. So another aspect, like I think one of your taglines was before we started this episode was
Mm,
uh, about the new part of the Speed Force,
mm,
and yeah, like I think the last page of this issue was Wally finding himself in some sort of new park filled with these statues, and um, some anonymous being is communicating with him. But as he's moving, the other statues are moving as well, but it's just moving extremely slow. So my understanding or my assumption is that the other statues are the real life people, and he's seeing them through a magnifying glass.
mm.
Um, and yeah, he's just watching them move in like a really slow speed. But yeah, I don't know. We'll have to find out in issue 5. But yeah, I think it's really starting to come into its own after an extremely slow start.
Okay. Slow start for the Flash, but eventually picks up speed. It's kind of how we're going with that,
Yep.
with the puns there. So we
Yep.
didn't actually grab images of any of the solicits for this week. Marvel solicits, at least. We talked about the big DC solicit, which was the House of Brainiac. The big Marvel solicit, Blood Hunt, which is Jed McKay's first really big event. And yeah, it's vampires and Moon Knight and just kind of like everything that he's been kind of dabbling with. He's been dealing with a little bit of the darker side of the Marvel universe, with Moon Knight, with Doctor Strange. He's done Black Cat. She doesn't really do too much vampires, but darker-ish side. So he's doing this big event, and I'm excited for that. That'll be cool, I
Dude, that
believe.
should have been a killer thing to announce for October to coincide with
Yep.
Halloween.
Yep. Nope. That is coming out. Golly. Another April. April. There you go. April showers
It's
bring what
Night It
follows,
is
I
all
guess.
over again.
That is coming out in April. Another big one that was kind of revealed, at least on the cover page. So we do know that Cap will be assembling all these Avengers in Avengers Twilight, and we have a new Hawkeye. There's some people who think it may be Kate. If you look at the figure shape, this Hawkeye does appear to be female, at least, but this Hawkeye is tatted up the wazoo. I don't see that happening to Kate anytime soon, but this is an alternate, reality. This is a different universe
Rebel
here.
Kate. Give us Rebel Kate. Do it.
Yeah, I mean, if this is Kate, this is a jacked Kate Bishop, like jacked, like forearms bigger than my head. That would
Yeah.
be that would be
Just
something. We
tat her up. Give her completely black hair. Let her listen to emo. Just do it. Make
Oh
make her the
man.
perfect.
Oh no.
Damon already loves her. Just go a step further. Let
Oh
Make her
no.
favorite band My Chemical Romance.
Oh
Make
dear.
her
Pop punk
one.
Kate Bishop. Oh god.
Give it to us, Marvel. Do it.
Oh no. Oh man, Ass just saying I want to see him lose all his money.
Pretty much.
Uh, another one that has been revealed already, unfortunately. We do know Ultimate Spider-Man #2 is coming out soon. The first issue sold out everywhere. It's a great success. I posted a TikTok about that issue, and I've never, ever had any comic book review on TikTok get more than like 5,000 views. This one was like it's blown up, and it's because of this book. Like that's how big this book has gotten. We do know, because of a variant cover from a solicit that got revealed, who the new Green Goblin is. I won't say it, but we do know who it is. Not a big surprise by any stretch, but still fun. And we have a new Ultimate Spider-Man coming out. The Peach Momoko X-Men is coming out soon, although there's a version of Storm in this that I'm gonna need a little bit more explanation on. I'm gonna be honest. um, I'm gonna be honest. There's a Storm in this that if this character is Storm, the internet will not be happy. But I'm going to wait until the issue comes out before I, kind of like acknowledge what's going on here, because this is the Ultimate Universe, right? This isn't like this is a completely different thing, but these characters are still alive. So I am interested. Maybe this is a child of scenario. I don't know. It's possible. I'm
You are
keeping.
looking. You are looking at this as a glass half full right
I
now.
am
I think
looking at this
you are trying
where
to be as optimistic as possible.
I am. I am. I'm looking at this where I'm like, okay, I need more explanation. I need to see this first before I go full out. And but like, let me just pull it up. We are getting a version at least from the solicit cover. This is scary, man. This is scary. We are getting apparently, her name is May. Goes by May Storm. And, if you know the character of Storm, typically it doesn't look like that. Now, I love Peach Momoko's art. I love Peach Momoko's storytelling. I really love her Demon Days. So, I'm going to see what's going on here first before I put out any more thoughts. That's it. Anything can happen in this Ultimate Universe. I'm going to see what's going on there first. That's it.
Anything can
Hey, if any
happen,
thoughts on that?
but yeah, I was just gonna say the anything can happen in this universe, but one thing is constant: we still have Twitter or X in our universe, and we know how that's going to go down.
Yes, we do. If is there any books coming out next week or the week after that that you are very excited about before we announce what our next reading club book is with Emma and Brandon? Because we decided on that.
I am most looking forward to Wild West Superman. Like, obviously, it released for you last week, 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably arriving for me this week coming. But yeah, just the way that issue 9 ended with that sort of build up to the Wild West Superman. Yeah, I'm excited for that one. I cannot wait to see what happens. And was it Josh Williamson that called him Beefcake?
Oh yeah, total beefcake.
Nice.
Total beefcake. We have some good books coming out in the next couple of weeks. The beginning of the month is always just a dump of some of the best books out there. Poison Ivy's been fantastic. The Cole is wrapping up. We'll talk about that next pod. Avengers been solid. Doctor Strange has always been good, and then Action Comics continuing. But that first week of February, good golly, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pulls, which for me is a lot. I know for a lot of people that's like, that's average. For me, that's a lot. Okay.
Yeah,
And
my
go ahead.
pulls have been crazy. Like lately, every
Mhm.
every single time I go to swipe, I'm like, oh damn, my bank account.
Oh
Make,
no, my
help
wallet.
me, please. Somebody
My
sponsor
wallet.
me.
The next book for our reading club, drum roll, is Nightwing Into the Light. I'm very excited for them to read it. AF, have you read that first volume of Nightwing yet?
I have not, so I am just as excited
Ooh,
to do that.
yes. This is a great kind of introduction to Nightwing and the world that he's in now. It's very new reader friendly, which is kind of the whole point that we're now doing with this reading club. As AF and I were talking off camera, like, oh, what book should we read next? And I was like, oh, how about Flashpoint? And it was just like,
No,
let's
I don't.
let's
I don't think we've
work a
we've
little bit before we
earned
get
the right to speak about Flashpoint yet. We need to get there. We need to earn our way there.
we have
One
to
other
do
thing.
some work first.
Yeah, yeah.
But we
One
have a
other
ton of
thing.
others. Go ahead.
Um, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Was there anything that dropped this week?
There was.
Maybe,
There
maybe,
was.
perhaps.
We have our Supergirl. We have a new Kara. It's Millie Alcock, which you may know her from House of the Dragon. She played a young Rhaenyra Targaryen, and she is excellent. Apparently, she was one of the very first people that James Gunn and Peter Safran thought of when they were watching the show. And like, oh man, she'd be a great Kara, wouldn't she? So they did the full entire process, auditions galore, and she ended up getting it. They wowed her enough during the audition process to get the role. I'm excited. I think the age that she's at is very, very perfect, especially for the age that Clark will be at that point. Now, we
Yeah,
still have no idea anything about the Superman Legacy movie when it comes to the plot. We know characters that'll be involved. We've seen him throw up, for all seasons and all-star Superman, just kind of like it'd be like, hey, these are kind of like, inspirations for it. But other than that, we really know nothing about it. So he has kind of teased and said, Kara may not even be in Superman Legacy. I think she would at least be mentioned, or, little teaser
that's pretty.
credit kind of going
Yeah,
off at the end of the movie. But I'm excited. I love Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. That is also one of the books that we have lined up
yeah.
on the reading club. If you all have any books you want to see for the reading club, leave them in the comments as well. What do you
I
think about the
well,
casting before we head out?
yeah, no, I'm fully behind it. I love her in House of the Dragon. So yeah, huge win for everybody that loves that show, and huge win for any DC fan, any Supergirl fan, any Super Family fan. Um, I think she's going to knock it out of the park. And I mean, to get such high praise from James Gunn off the bat, you have to be extremely good at what you do then. So yeah, I'm looking forward to finally seeing her in the costume eventually. Um, but yeah, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, if you have not read that yet, please do give it a go.
It's excellent.
Um, it is amazing. The art is perfect, and Tom King's story so good.
So coming up on the next pod, we have a bunch of comic reviews, as we always do. The Deadpool trailer rumored to come out on Super Bowl Sunday, which would be before the next issue. The next episode. So if that's the case, we'll talk about that. And you know what drops around that same time, AF? Get excited. Madam Web.
I'm just gonna stop my drum roll.
Woo! That's it for another episode of the
I'm
Comic
done.
Corner.
I'm done.
That is it for another episode of the Comic Corner. And where can people find you on the interwebs?
I am over here at AF Parker 642 on all socials. So if you see all those icons on the top of the screen right now, X, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, that's where you'll find me at that handle.
You can find me at Twitter at Damon Tweet. You can find me on Threads at Damon.Graham. You can find me on TikTok at Damon Talks Comics. You can find me on Blue Skies. You can find me on whatever new social media pops up these days. New ones out there all the time. We're on all of them. That'll do it for this issue of the Comic Corner. Shout out BoomTube Comics. AF, shout out your local comic shop.
Readers Den and Cosmic Comics.
Go support your local comic shops. See you next time.